In this video, I'll show you how you can use context-free to create branched structures. The inspiration from this is from the YouTube link that you can see on your screen. I think this is a slightly shorter version. To begin, we'll have our familiar square, but you might notice that I have an extra word rule in front of my curly brackets. We can transform our square into something that looks a bit like a tree trunk by making it into a spike, saying change the size to 0.99 and make it go upwards. At the moment we have no branches, so to make some branches I'm going to copy that rule, paste it underneath, and then I'm going to add one extra line of code, which is to take our tree, rotate it by 90 degrees and make it size 0.8. And we can then render it and we get something that looks fairly impressive. And you might have noticed things going a bit crazy at the top right hand side, which is why I decided to stop it, and we have a rather unattractive blob. This is easily fixed though, because instead of saying straight rule, we can assign a value of 10 to the first rule and a value of 1 to the second, which means that this first rule will be implemented 10 times more often than our second rule. If you don't have numbers, you've got a 50-50 chance of picking either rule. So now when I render it, it looks a bit better, and I can make my structure even lighter by changing the rule to 20. So fairly obviously, trees don't quite look like that. If you want it to look more tree-like, you can change the rotation of your final rule to 30 degrees, and we now have a one-sided tree. Why don't you pause this video and see if you can generate the rule required to make a two-sided tree. If you're still with me, I'll show you how to do it. It's as simple as copying our rule, which has a weight of 1, pasting it, and changing the rotation to -30, and now we have a tree. We can render the tree again, and it will look quite different. If you want a lighter tree, try changing the weighting of your first rule to 30 instead of 20. You'll notice that each time you render, the tree looks slightly different. So what if you're wanting to make sure that you always get the same tree? Look what happens in this area every time I hit render. You'll notice the code changes. So if you particularly like that balanced tree called DDV, make a note of the code. We can render something else. We can change it back to DDV. And now when we render, we're back to the tree that we liked. At this point, I'll save my code, and I'm going to render a large version of the tree. A reminder of how to do this is go Render, choose Render to Size, choose a size that you want, and then choose Render. Once you've done that, you can go Save Image and save the image, and I'll save mine as a transparent PNG. In the next video, we'll take a break from context-free, and I'll show you how you can do some post-processing on this image to make a cool background.